Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the comic book industry. We don't talk about the comic book industry unless it's bad news anymore because nobody cares.
Pretty much.
Nobody cares. I'm being completely honest.
Kotaku cares, which is surprising to me.
Yeah, alt-right rag Kotaku. No, because they're criticizing Marvel's decision to hide X-Men bonus material behind a QR code, which I think is incredibly stupid.
It is very stupid.
People are outraged, but we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to talk about Colin Kaepernick pissing off the entire comic book industry because he's starting an AI comic book publisher.
Well, he figured he already ticked off everybody in football. He might as well just move to that. Take a knee and don't buy his books.
Yes, I mean, it's crazy. Like, the entire comic book industry is hating on this guy. The good news is that they're leaving YouTubers alone because now they got bigger fish to fry, right? We're going to talk about all of this. And again, we don't usually talk about the comic book industry unless they do something really, really stupid. We've done two comic book videos this week because there's been a lot of stupidity, so we can talk about it. So let's talk about it. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
So I'm going to be honest. This is the X-Men reboot by Gail Simone and friends, and I have less than zero interest in it. So I'm a little late to the party. I know I had some people write and say, "Hey, why don't you cover the Marvel Comics QR code debacle?" And it's because, yeah, Gail Simone, X-Men, current year, not interested.
I'm honestly surprised they didn't use the QR code and like hide the last pages of the book and say, if you want to read it, you have to pre-order, while the comics aren't selling well, to try to say, oh, look, everybody wants Ms. Marvel now, or whatever. You know what I mean?
I think they're going to start doing that. There's definitely something going on here. I mean, they're saying that they're only hiding, this is according to Tom Brevoort, they're only hiding bonus material behind a QR code.
Then why put it at all?
Why put it at all? Back in the day, they used to just polybag comics that had spoiler material. You know what I'm saying? And what's going to stop somebody from just scanning the code at the shop? I guess you have to give them your email address or something.
Oh, really? That sounds scammy.
Right. That's my understanding, and that's probably what is actually going on here is they're going to try to force everybody to sign up for Marvel.com or whatever. And they've been doing this because they've been giving you like digital copies and all that. And I think we're getting close to a time when Marvel is going to be like, yeah, there's no point in publishing new floppy comics. Because really what their bread and butter is at this point would be the trade paperbacks, not the monthlies. And more shops are noping out from selling new monthly comics. So yeah, I think they're getting ready to just be like, you know what? The monthly stuff, yeah, it's digital. I
remember when I was younger, I used to go to Walden Books and they always had like the bad naughty books always wrapped, but they also had like the Star Wars, fan books, magazines and stuff. And they'd have cards in them and stuff, and they'd be wrapped in shrink wrap, so it didn't spoil too much if you don't want it to, kind of thing. And I remember that back in the day when I used to shop at Walden Books. Now Walden Books isn't around anymore.
We just did another video talking about Game Informer shutting down, and we were talking about all these magazines they used to have when we were younger. And yeah, I think I had like Star Wars Insider or something. It had I want to say there was like a special edition, had like the top special edition cards, and I had one that was Han Solo with a really bad CGI Jabba.
Once upon a time, I had big giant uncut, the wide cards, tops card sheets. I had uncut sheets of those.
My sheets.
I was such a dork.
She was. That's part of why I married you.
Yep.
Yeah.
But comics wasn't my thing. But
for your
I did
uncut
love Star Wars.
sheets and your toys. I married you for your toys.
I didn't have most of that by the time you met me, though. Anyway.
No, she didn't. But you helped put yourself through college with Star Wars toys.
But anyway, back to comics.
But you're not a real fan. You're not a real Star Wars fan. No.
Let's go back to comics because that's what it's about. When you said that, it unlocked a memory.
Comics actually, it's kind of like I love graphic novels and I love manga and I love what's going on in the independent comic space right now. But every time I talk about Marvel or DC Comics, I just get depressed. It's very depressing.
That's kind of about Star Wars.
It's just like, I love this thing for years now. It's just, it's gone.
I've gotten to the place I don't even let myself get excited about anything anymore, especially if it's a reboot of something or something that I loved when I was a kid, because I know damn well they're going to just completely decimate it, and I know it. So I don't even let myself get excited anymore.
So here's what happened. They said at the very end of July 10th, X-Men #1. readers encountered a large QR code printed on one of the last
That's
pages.
gonna look really tacky too. If you want like the comic to sell it later on,
It does.
it looks awful.
It looks really bad. It does look really bad. They said it's a bonus page with an extra page. We didn't scale back the content of X-Men #1 to do it, said Tom Brevoort. And it gave us a page whose contents we could conceal until the day of release, thus avoiding any spoilers. Well, so part of the value in collecting comics for the people that still collect physical comics is first appearances of characters or first mentions of places, you know what I'm saying? Big events. And if you're going to hide that behind a QR code, it doesn't actually exist in the comic book, right? And what happens when the website goes offline?
Well, yeah, but I'm more concerned by the fact that, yes, all that, but I'm more concerned by the fact that if they're requiring you to give them your email and stuff, I don't know if that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's really,
Yeah, the editor confirmed that Marvel was going to do similar QR bonus pages in future X-Men comic launches as a sort of modern day equivalent of that Things to Come page that ran the first issue of the Claremont Lee X-Men #1. Well,
so they're going to keep putting these awful barcodes on all the comics.
Yeah, they said fans don't like it. They said they see the bonus pages as important to the overall story, and these extras are indeed the last pages of a comic book. Doesn't help that one of those QR pages wasn't available when the comic was first sold.
Oh.
Yeah, and eventually they're going to take it offline too, right? So if it's like the first appearance of just hypothetically speaking, what if they locked the first appearance of Deadpool behind a QR code, 30 years ago or so, the equivalent, you know what I'm saying? Mm. And then whatever the first issue would have been, well, it's not really worth anything because he's not actually in it.
Well, someone said, wait, looking at this, he said, the Marvel editor even suggested that they do a second printing with a QR code page. They might include that bonus page in the comic instead.
But it's a second printing. It's not worth as much.
Yeah, except by that point, spoilers don't matter. It's like, you're just like, I don't know, you just done effed up. I would recommend you stop doing that because people are mad.
People are mad. Again, you're comic book collectors, the people that buy floppy comics, they're buying them because they're hoping they're either completionists or they're hoping that these things are going to be worth money someday for something. And if you're introducing a new character and you're hiding them behind a QR code, that's kind of, you know what I'm saying?
I don't care if you hide a kind of QR code for something like, Snowflake and Safe Space, but,
Well, hold on. So apparently, your boy Zach, somebody from Marvel actually sent him a PDF.
I saw.
Of the comic, and he's kind of like, yeah, the reason it was canceled is it's awful.
Shocker.
Shocker, plot twist. It's awful. And the reason he thought it was canceled wasn't because the right-wing chuds were having a problem with it. It's because the people on the left felt like they were being targeted, and it was also awful. Did I mention it was awful? Yeah, I saw bits of it. It looks pretty bad. But yeah, they're just being kind of like, yeah, if you have any problems, just, contact your distributor, whatever. But they said they're not going to do it. They're going to drop it. I think because of that backlash. I think if they could get away with it.
They are dropping it for sure?
After this, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because everybody's pissed. Yeah.
Because they're pissed. Yeah,
you felt good luck. Your good news, you just pissed everyone off. Way to go. They're united in being pissed.
Yeah, and they're talking about the switch up in distribution and everything. Like, it really feels to me that we're getting to the end of monthly comics. I mean, again, we have distribution upheaval. We have companies like Disney and Warner Brothers trying to save money, and then we have all these comic shops saying they're not even going to carry new comics anymore. So they're like, what's the point? I mean, they don't care. Let's be honest. Marvel and DC don't care about the collectors, the speculator. They don't care at all because they get paid whatever they get paid for that comic. They don't see a dime after that. That comic winds up being worth, $10,000 on the secondary market. They don't care because they got their $1.50 or whatever from it. That's
everybody united in being pissed. Let's talk about the other story.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Apparently, everybody's pissed off at old Colin because of the $4 million AI comic book publisher.
Now, dude, why? Dude is supposed to be rich already. Why do you have to get other people to pay for it?
Well, that's what people are saying. We got Kyle Higgins here saying you came into an industry you didn't understand and were shocked to find out it's harder than you thought. You found solutions by ripping off actual creators. You've created a shortcut to mediocrity. This happens a lot. A lot of people, when comics are hot, you get a lot of people coming into the comic book industry that aren't.
Then why is it coming in now?
You waited too damn long, dude. But yeah, he raised $4 million for Lumi, an AI platform aimed at revolutionizing comic book publishing.
I'm thinking of it's the stupid underarm deodorant.
Oh, is that the one that gynecologists created?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He raised $4 million for Lumi. That's what I'm thinking of.
Now your balls don't stink. Congratulations. He made it clear that the artists own all the work they create using Lumi. However, since the former quarterback announced that he's facing backlash, one comic book artist blasted him as he said Lumi is just ripping off the true artists. Lots of people are pissed off, right? This is just a small sampling. We'll go out to Twitter and we'll see them losing their shit. He's basically the demon of the week, because you know how we have the demon of the month club, demon of the week club. He's the new demon of the month, week, year, which means they'll probably leave YouTubers alone for a while. Yeah, so apparently he had meetings with him a few months ago. He told me broadly what this AI platform was about. He mentioned it was about removing gatekeepers and how he wanted to benefit people from underserved walks of life.
I'm going to stop you right there. You mean like the comic industry's been doing for the last 10 years, where they have just like pretty much got rid of all the people that were white, straight, male, gave a bunch of comics people who weren't well, there were talented people available, but you didn't give it to them. You gave it to the loudmouth people that were available and were friends of people, and then the comic book industry is in the gutter.
Yeah,
you mean
pretty
like
much.
that?
He said
it works so well.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. This is Chris Sotomayor. He said that. Yeah, he said I couldn't support this because those gatekeepers were people like me who put in our blood, sweat, and tears into our craft. Hard work, a pencil, and paper were all you needed to make comics. I let him know that his product was going to hurt us long term.
He doesn't care.
So if anyone's asking whether Colin Kaepernick is aware of the misgivings artists have with AI, please believe me that he has been made aware, and I know for a fact I'm not the only one who did so. Yeah. So a lot of people told him this is a bad idea. And Twitter is full of very angry people. This person said, if I raised $4 million to make comics, I'd hire my favorite hardworking, talented artists, writers, inkers, colorists, and editors, pay you well, and we'd make awesome comics. Unfortunately, Kaepernick is the one who got all the money. Be angry, artist friends. Colin Kaepernick was just at San Diego Comic-Con. He raised $4 million to make AI-generated comics.
Himself. Why do you have to raise money? He could just call a couple of his friends and got that in like 5 minutes.
He could probably just drive over to the bank.
Right. But he doesn't want to even put his own money in it.
He didn't want to put, no, because it's dicey. It's dicey. This is what gets me. This is just like NFTs and all this other shit. It's really just.
Well, did you read the rest of it though? Go back up. He just said that they're used, supposedly according to them, to make AI-generated comics with data sets built on stolen art by artists who are struggling to earn just enough to pay rent. If that's true about the stolen art. Well,
that's like every AI art program, right? I mean, it's even DeviantArt. Like they got busted that they were scraping your content. Everybody's scraping your content. Adobe's scraping your content.
Although venture capital firms and notable angel investors back Lumi, highlighting its potential to democratize storytelling. You mean, so any dipshit who can't draw or write could use the AI to do it for them?
Yeah. Yeah. And he doesn't care. Like, again, when you have people that do not actually work in the comic book industry come into comics and they want to do this and that, whatever, it always goes south. Because I've seen so many celebrities try to be like, oh, I'm going to go start my own celebrity vanity publishing company, or I'm going to go start my whatever. And it's very clear that they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
And they're mad too. They chose San Diego Comic-Con to launch it.
They've launched it. San Diego. Hey, everybody. This extremely wealthy football player is going to put all you broke ass comic book artists out of business.
Well, we already know he only cares about what he cares about. He's made that very clear throughout the years. I don't know why it's surprising to anyone.
He cares about himself. I mean, he uses social justice. We'll go out to the beat because I'm sure she's having a meltdown out here. But she probably did a pretty decent job of doing a roundup because most of her friends are probably pissed. A lot of people are pissed off about it. Yeah, so they're talking about Zest World raising money and all these like these comic startups. I don't understand why people think now would be a good time to dump like millions of dollars into the comic book industry. It's clearly struggling, and throwing more money at it is not going to fix it. You know.
But wait, so the fundraising was led by this person who did this before, and then for
Zest World, yeah,
and it's flopped.
Yeah, it flamed out after not doing much of anything but putting out a few digital comics.
Yeah, it's probably a front to keep the money.
They had that one. They have, what's the one they have now? Distillery, and they've got, oh God, what was Zoop, that crowdfunding platform?
Whatever happened to that?
It just kind of just went away and nobody talks about it.
It went poop.
Poof. Yeah, I wonder if some of these aren't like, money laundering schemes or whatever. But here's some of the comic book creators reacting. Jumping feels literally trying to demolish whatever creative jobs are left in the industry, says Leanna Kangas. Sorry, dude, but time and time again, we got into this industry for the craft, not the money.
Oh, please.
And
then why y'all yelling about money all the time?
It will prove that our storytelling is better than AI's every single time.
Well, but recent current year books, I doubt that highly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree that currently a human is going to be a much better storyteller.
Oh, I agree, but not the ones they have on most of the books now.
No, because I think the comic book industry is broke. I mean, you don't think look, I'm not saying his app in particular, but you don't think that Disney and Warner Brothers aren't looking for a solution to make comic books cheaper, better, cheaper, faster. I mean, I guarantee you they're already looking into it. Mark Brooks, Colin Kaepernick has raised $4 million to fund AI comics. He could have used that money to fund dozens of comics by highly skilled POC creators to show he stands behind his words with actions. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. They're all like this. Most of them, these celebrities, they're all like a social justice, social justice, social justice.
It's
but
only
you
social
first.
justice because they want to make themselves look good.
But you first. Say he's going to actively steal from them. That's sad. J.H. Williams, disgusting. As someone who has experienced being marginalized himself, I would have thought he'd know better. I'm not expecting those investors will lose all the money they put in. I'm sure.
I'm sure they probably will.
Ben Templesmith, I may have just left some rather irate comments on his Twitter account after discovering what he thinks of working comic professionals. Apparently, we're dirt, gatekeepers, and worthy of nothing but being stolen from.
Well, recent comic years, they have been extremely gatekeepy, and the stuff has been not worth stealing. But that's, recent.
Well, it's interesting because some of the people on this list have participated in gatekeeping.
I am 100% aware. That's why I said what I said. And I said.
It's very ironic that they're complaining about gatekeeping now. They don't respect.
I know, that's why I think, oh, there's Kibble Smith.
We were just talking about him.
Yes.
Kibble Smith, I am respectfully asking everyone to get out of comics if they don't enjoy the physical act of making comics. I'm not out here trying to replace the NFL with Madden simulations.
Whoa. I respectfully ask that Kibble Smith get out of comics because Kibble Smith's comics suck. And he's a rich white guy. Why is he even on here?
Isn't he like independently wealthy?
Yes.
I thought he was, He was like a trust fund baby or something. Cheryl Lynn Eaton, who has everybody she doesn't like blocked on Twitter. If you think that black artists are going to support AI, robbing them of not only career opportunities, but also the work they've already produced just because you've thrown up a black figurehead, one who has nothing to do with comics, mind you, you're crazy.
Oh, you mean like all the people who weren't around comics, but they were on Tumblr and stuff, and their friends got them jobs in comics, got rid of people who built the comic industry in total, and ones who made all the comics that were popular, and they replaced them with these people, and then, gate kept all the people out. You mean like that?
It is kind of ironic.
Look, it's ironic. I mean, I don't disagree. I think it's a bad idea. I think this AI thing is terrible and it shouldn't happen. That being said, it's highly ironic the people getting pissed about it are the ones who did the exact same damn thing.
Yeah. Alice Mekki Lee. See, I'm not familiar with a lot of the newer creators, right? But I can tell you she doesn't math very well because she's not accounting for overhead. She said, this is disappointing for $4 million.
You're expecting her to know, or I'm assuming it's a her, to know that, what comics actually cost, to actually know how to break it down rather than like demand money.
Well, yeah. For $4 million, he could have started his own comic studio and paid 40 artists $100,000 to work for a year. No.
Wait.
No. No, it doesn't. That doesn't work that way. There's taxes. There's overhead.
But you have to have the printing.
Yeah.
You have to have the distribution.
Yeah.
You have to have all that. You might be able to hire 10 to 15.
Maybe 10 to 15. Maybe 10 to 15.
But then he's supposed to do it for the goodness of his heart, just to hire them and never make any money himself. Yeah, no, that's
way more money than most artists ever make. He could have employed struggling, marginalized creators and empowered them to tell stories they never had times or funds to tell. I want to
jump in here too. Way much money than comic artists usually make. Again, here's the little thing. And the ones who bring the sales and make the company money should be paid well. However, if you're not selling many books, then no one's going to give you a bunch of money to cost them money out of the goodness of their heart because you are you. These people just don't. I find this whole situation hilarious, personally. I'm laughing my butt off over here.
I am really on the fence about this because
I think the whole AI thing's stupid and I hate it.
Yeah,
but I'm finding the situation with these people losing their shit over it funny as hell.
It's like, basically the gatekeepers are complaining now that
because they can't gatekeep.
They can't gatekeep anymore. That's funny. That being said,
someone supposed to be on their side is doing it.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It is kind of funny. It is kind of funny. It's kind of ironic. It's like, this is what you guys basically, you shrunk the comic book industry to a place where there's no real financial incentive for truly talented people to go work in comics if they're not already working in comics, because they could literally go work anywhere else. You're like, yeah, $100,000 a year is way more than most people in comics make. I'm like, yeah. Does that sound like a great career field to go into? Because you could make $100,000.
Well, that was right. The other person said, well, they didn't get in it for the money.
Yeah. So, okay. Then why would anybody? So all the people that have a lot of skill, the people that could come into comics and be like the next groundbreaking creator. And I'm sorry, none of these people are, right? I'm not saying they're bad, but I'm saying none of these people are like the next Frank Miller. You're not even allowed to talk about him. And even the people that had talent, the people that did better, they got chased out of the industry because they were too good. They were too rich. And a lot of times they were too white and they just didn't like them. So they chased them out.
I have to laugh because two things can be true simultaneously. And it can be true that the AI idea, this Lumi idea, is a really, really shitty bad one. 100% agree.
Yeah.
And it also could be true that this is hilarious and highly ironic watching these people have a meltdown. And that's where we're at. That's where I'm at anyway. I can't speak for you, but that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of issues. Oh, the irony.
The Kibblesmith jumping in there makes it even. That's like the mwah at the top of my laughter pie.
He's your laughter pie. He's gonna come in and he's gonna ruin comics. He's gonna make shitty comics. I'm like, dude, your New Warriors comic was so bad that they just shelved it.
He's an expert. He would know. Are we wrapping this up?
Yeah, let's wrap
Maybe they
this.
should just stick a barcode on every page on some of these people's comics. Call it a day.
You know what you do? You just print a blank book with barcodes in it. It's just blank except for the barcodes, and then you scan it, and it just generates the page via AI.
Give them time. Give them time. They're going to do that. They're going to charge you for the book, and then they're going to charge you every time you have to scan a page.
$15 for a book full of blank pages, and there's a QR code at the end, and you scan it in.
They're animated, so you have to pay for page too.
Yeah, oh my God.
We use AI to make the move, like those stupid memes.
Yeah, it's called desperation. Basically, the comic book industry can't get by on new comic sales, so this is where we're at. This is where we're at, guys. Gonna wrap it up?
Yep.
Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.